So science, page 47. Stop. Oh, Carson.
Now let's go up. No, I don't. What did I do to make it go? This? Not that. Then it's like going in the words more bad than that's what my point. Actually is not. But he's not. On Zoom. What page?
Page 47.
See, they said beautiful. On Zoom. No, I'm on that page. I feel complicated. Are we studying? Are we
We're just gonna look at the map. You need to write them more? All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we've been talking about the 4 parts of the plant. So this week we are going to cover the last part of the plant, which is the root part of the plant. Stop biting on that, please. The root part of the plant. Okay. So last week we discussed the stem and the leaves. Remember, the job of the stem is to hold the plant up, but also to take water and nutrients from the roots and give it to the rest of the plant. Okay, we talked about how some stems climb like vines, and the largest stem in the world is a tree trunk. And we also talked about leaves. The main job of a leaf is to make food for the plant. It needs chlorophyll, water, sunlight, and carbon dioxide in order to make food for the plant. When it has all 4 of those ingredients, the leaf can make food for the plant, and the food is sugar. We talked about chlorophyll, and chlorophyll's job is to help make food, but also chlorophyll is used as the thing that makes a plant green, right? When the chlorophyll is flowing through the veins of a plant, it will make the plant green. Plants are green because of chlorophyll. But we talked about how sometimes in the fall we'll see plants as different colors. And why does that happen? Well, that happens because in the fall, there's less sunlight, so there becomes less chlorophyll inside of a plant. And when there's less chlorophyll, there's less sunlight, means less chlorophyll. That means less chlorophyll, and it eventually disappears. The plant will not be able to be green anymore, and we'll see the original color of the plant come out, which is when we see purple and red and yellow and brown leaves. That's because there's no more chlorophyll. Okay, so on 47, let's go ahead and talk about the roots and what the job of the roots part of the plant is. Okay, Faith, you want to start us off on 47 reading?
Yes, And
Taylor, put those on my desk so that you're not playing with them the whole time. Oh, unmute Faith. Party 7. Huh? Mhm.
have you ever tried to pull a weed out of the ground? Why did you? Why you have to tug so hard? The roots hold the plant very tidy in the soil. When a seed begins to grow, it first pushes out a tiny root. The little root looks like a string.
Okay, good. Okay, so excuse me. So whenever you try to pull a plant out of the ground, a lot of times if you pull it out, there'll be like these little string things hanging from it. Those are what we call the roots of a plant. The roots job is to hold that plant in the ground. That's why when you plant a seed, you'll stick it in the ground and eventually it starts to grow out into these strings, which we know as roots, and it'll attach itself to the soil so that it's going to hold the plant in the ground. Okay, so when you plant a seed, you put it in the ground. The first thing that'll happen is it'll push out a little tiny root. It'll be like a little small piece, right? But that's the root. It's starting to sprout, and eventually it starts with just one, then it spreads to several different sprouts. Okay, I'm going to run. 48, Dennis.
It might not look very strong, but the tip of the root is very hard. The tip of the root pushes and twists through its way through the soil as it grows. As the plant grows taller, the roots reach deeper into the soil. The roots must grow longer to hold the bigger plant in place. The bigger plant, the more water it needs. As the plant gets bigger, the roots reach farther down into the soil for more water.
Okay, so like I said, that little root will push out. And if you look at the picture of the bean on 48, you can see that little, like it looks like a little leg, a little string. That's how it starts, and it doesn't look like much, but that's where it begins, and that's the first root that'll push out. So it'll push, and then it'll start to twist its way in the ground. Eventually, it'll sprout out to more. Do you see that? How it sprouts out to more? Then it will turn into more, and that's eventually how you get so many roots. And all those roots are just traveling through the soil, holding on to the soil so that the plant has a strong root system, a foundation before it pushes out of the ground. And so, of course, we know that the bigger the plant, the more water it'll need. The bigger the plant, the roots will go deeper into the ground. That's why, like, if the wind is blowing, it will not blow a tree down, right? Because the roots are usually very deep into the ground. But like little flowers, little plants, if the wind is blowing really hard, a hurricane comes, it'll probably blow a lot of those plants down because the roots aren't that deep. But like big trees, the roots are usually deep. So the bigger the plant, the deeper the roots. The smaller the plant, the shallower the roots are. It's more shallow. The roots are, they're not as deep into the ground. So when you plant a seed, it will push out as one little small root, but then eventually it'll start to sprout out into more strings, more roots, and it's just putting itself deeper in the ground to hold that plant together. And so all roots have root hairs, and the job of the root hair is to drink water from the soil, to get water and nutrients from the soil. Okay, 49. I'll read it. This is short. Look carefully at the roots. Do you see the little hairs of the roots in the circle? The root hairs drink the water from the soil, and that's the job of the root hair. It will drink water from the soil. Okay, page 50. Let's do the top part, Naraya.
How do the roots of the soil? Did you know that roots of the soil, God designed the soil to have two layers, the topsoil and the subsoil. The topsoil is dark and has the most nutrients which helps plants grow. Sometimes the topsoil can wear away. This is called soil erosion.
Okay, so the roots not only are helpful to the plant, but the roots are also helpful to the soil, the ground, the dirt, right? The soil is the dirt. That's the ground, Okay, so there's two layers of soil. We have the topsoil and the subsoil. The topsoil is usually the part that we usually see, like once we start to dig up the ground, we start to see how dark it is. That's the topsoil. That's where a lot of the nutrients are, and that's what helps the plant to grow out. But sometimes the topsoil can wear away, meaning it won't be good ground to plant anything, and that's called soil erosion. And let's talk about how soil erosion happens, how sometimes the topsoil disappears, basically. Carson?
Erosion can happen because of water or wind. If the soil becomes loose and dry, it is easy for wind to blow away the topsoil. Heavy rains can also wash the topsoil away. Root systems help keep the important topsoil in place. God designed the roots to help take care of the soil while the soil is providing nutrients for the roots to give to the plant. Is God wise?
Yep. Okay. So soil erosion happens because of wind and water. So if the soil becomes loose and dry, when heavy wind comes, it'll blow the topsoil away. And now again, we need topsoil because topsoil is where a lot of the nutrients are to help plants to grow. If there is no topsoil, then there's no nutrients for the plants to grow. And that's the actual real thing that's happening today in some places. It's really hard to plant things in some places, or to plant and have it grow because the topsoil is eroding. It's a lot of soil erosion is happening, and that's because the land is changing on the earth, right? And so it can be like by an earthquake, a volcano, just bad weather, different things like that can change the way the soil is. Not only that, but like wind, heavy rains as well, when it floods, right? It can wash away some of the topsoil as well. But the root systems, when we have roots in plant, in the ground because of plants, the roots will take care of the soil and help the soil to stay with enough nutrients so that it can eventually come back again and plants can grow from it as well. And so the roots job is not only to make sure the plant has a good foundation in the ground, but the root also helps that soil, which we know we need good soil in order for our plant to grow, right? So that's the job of the root. It does help to make sure the plant has a strong footing in the ground before it pushes out of the ground and we start to see the plant, right? Because when we plant a seed, we don't see it, right? We don't see it initially, but we know when we plant the bean in the roots, those roots start growing first, then eventually it pushes out into a plant. And so those root hairs on the root will drink water from the ground, taking in water and nutrients to help those roots continue to push and grow. The roots not only help the plant to have a good foundation in the ground, but the roots help the soil to have a lot of nutrients so that the plant could continue to grow as well. And so there's two types of soil: topsoil, which is the soil part where the most nutrients are, and then we have subsoil, which is the part that's underneath. That's the deeper part of the soil, the deeper part, like we dig deep down. And unfortunately, soil erosion happens a lot by water and wind. It can sometimes erode the soil and not have things grow, but the roots try to help the soil out. Okay. All right. So that's it for our science this week on the roots. That's our last part of the plant. So when we come back from our break, I think we have one last lesson on plants, and then we'll move on to our next chapter, which are the habitats.
What page? The page?
Oh, we're finished with science now.
Oh.
Yeah. So maybe just go ahead and read it, but we'll go over it again tomorrow as well. All right, guys, let's get out your social studies. We don't have a lesson this week. I just want to go over your map with you on page 46.
Math?
No, social studies, page 46.
Who said we wasn't? Kayla, you better stop studying. I will all A's are really close.
Okay.
What, Miss Flugents?
46.
Oh, Once upon a time, we had a green grasshopper. Grasshopper green on it says green is a complete cat. Burrito. This is one of that. Something comes by the house.
Okay, guys. Can you
Gorilla. Stare at the dog. Don't stare at the dog.
All right. Okay. 1 second, guys. All right. So, guys, remember Friday we have a test on our 13 colonies map. We'll have a test on both of them. I was gonna give one last Friday, but I decided to do them both. So you'll have a test on both. You have a test on the sections, the different colonies, and you'll have a test on each one. What the name of each one is, okay? What the name of each colony, what's the name? Okay, so it'll be blank when you take the test, and you have to identify which one is which. Have y'all been studying that? Because you cannot use your book on Friday. You're not supposed to use your book on Friday. In person cannot use their book, and you cannot use your book either. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Let's be honest and not use your book for your test on Friday. Okay? So that's all you have for social studies this week. We don't have a lesson. When we get back, we'll move on to our next chapter about George Washington. But so far, yeah, this week is only our colonies. Okay? All right. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our math lesson for today. No, y'all just told me that. I don't know what y'all want me to say. Excuse me. Okay, guys.
What page, Miss Fusion?
We're not in the book yet, but we'll be on 82. No, they're not. All right. So we have a couple of things we'll do on today on the board first, and then we'll get into what our lesson is on today. Yeah, lesson worksheet 82. It's gonna have like some graphs on there. I'm explaining in a second. But that's not what we're on just yet. I want to look at the board first before we get into that. You done with your spelling? Carol, you done with your spelling here? Worksheets? No, it's lesson worksheet 82, not 80-2. 82. All right, so let's go ahead and practice some time and adding. Y'all all done with your spelling?
Miss Fusion,
Math, Spanish, and English too? Yes, Avaya?
can we do the clock first?
Yeah, that's what we're doing. All right, so let's go ahead and tell time. So remember, we have two hands, hour hand, minute hand. We count by fives. Okay, what time would it be on my clock? Okay, Avaya?
2:35. 2:35.
2:35. So if we're about to get off of school, Avaya, would that be AM or PM?
PM.
PM. Yeah. All right, next one. Okay, Naraya. 10:20. If I am at school about to finish my lesson, would it be AM or PM? PM. AM. We're still in the morning. We don't go to school at 10:30 PM.
Why would we? Wait, that would be nice.
Okay, one more.
10:30 PM in the morning. Oh yeah, we do come at the morning.
It's on the one. I just kind of how it could be. But what time is it?
45, 50, 60, 65, 80, 95, 90, 91. You erased it. Erase, not erase it.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Nobody? I don't know hands up? No? Kimmy?
Robot.
11:05. If we are in bed sleeping, AM or PM? PM.
I just think
Good.
guys.
All right, if you have a little sleep paper, set up these two facts and add them up.
No. Same thing. I hurry up and do it. I can read mine in school, but I can't read that way. You understand? Oh, this thing you understand it. I'm gonna be your friend. All right. You have to my nail.
All right. Okay, did y'all write them? Not yet, still adding. Okay, go ahead and add them up. Let's go over them. All right, so 63 plus 12 plus 29. Okay, Avaya, add this one up for us.
3 plus 2 equals 5. 5 plus 9 equals 14.
Okay, how do I show that?
You put the 4 and then the 1.
Carry the 1, okay.
1 plus 6 equals 7.
Okay.
7 plus 1 equals 8. 8
8
plus 2 equals 10.
10. $1.04. Good. Second one. 24 plus 23 plus 26.
Good.
We're still adding that.
Hold on, Miss Fulgence. I got another one. 2 equals. It's 9.
Okay, anybody wants to do the second one for us? Okay, Dennis?
3 plus 4 equals 7.
Okay.
7 plus 6 equals 14.
13.
13.
How do I show 13?
3.
Uh-huh.
Put the 1 up top.
Okay.
1 plus 2 equals 3.
Mm-hmm.
3 plus 2 equals 5.
Uh-huh.
And 5 plus 2 equals 7. 70.
73.
I got that, but I put the 1 sign. Yes.
All right. So we are going to talk about a pictograph, which we've already discussed pictographs before. A pictograph is a graph that uses a picture to fill it in, but we'll do something different with the pictograph on today. We will learn how to read a pictograph on a scale of 2. So most of the time, whenever we fill in a graph, it's usually counted by ones, right? If we have, say we asked 5 people what their favorite food was, and there's 5 people said burgers, we would just color in. What's that? Oh, throw it away. Who's that for? Oh, throw it away and start touching hands. So we would just usually color in 5. But in this case, we'll use a scale of 2. So that means every time we put a picture on the graph, it will equal 2. That's what we'll do different this time with the pictograph. So we're going to fill it in. I'll show you on the board first, and then we'll practice in the book, okay? So this is a pictograph using pictures. We'll fill in the graph using pictures, but each picture means a total of 2. So that means when we're filling it in, we count by 2s. So for example, we asked everyone in the class, who is that again? We asked everyone what their favorite food was, okay? So the foods are burgers, hot dogs, pizza, and wings. These are the foods, okay? So when we asked everyone what their favorite food was, when we asked burgers, 10 people said their favorite food was a burger. We asked for hot dogs, 6 people said their favorite food was a hot dog. We asked for pizza, 12 people said their favorite food was pizza. And when we asked for wings, 3 people said their favorite food were wings, okay? So this is our graph here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the information that we learned here and we're gonna put it into a pictograph. Our picture that we're using is a smiley face. But again, I told you that each picture represents how many? 2. So every time we put a picture, we count by 2. So for this one, for burgers, we have a total of how many? 10. So let's go ahead and transfer the number 10 to a pictograph. So we're using what picture again? The smiley face. So let's go ahead and put 1. Now, is this 1? How many is it? It's 2. 1 picture represents 2. So that's 2. Let's do another one. So how many would this be? 4. We're counting by 2s. Each picture represents 2. So 2, 4. Let's do another picture. 6, 8, and 10. Remember, each picture represents 2. That's why we're only doing 5, because 2 times 5 is 10, but each picture represents 2. That's the difference with this pictograph. And look, it tells us right here, each picture is a total of 2. So 10 people said they like burgers, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's a total of 5 smiley faces. Do y'all understand what I'm doing? Yes, ma'am. Yeah? Okay, let's do our next one. Have to put them in order from biggest to smallest number. Each row you're putting in.
Miss Flugins,
Uh-huh.
can I get some water?
Sure.
Miss Flugins, what page are we on?
It's lesson. We're not on the book yet. We're not in the book yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and keep on going. So now we have our hot dogs. How many children said they like hot dogs?
6.
So let's put it into our graph using our picture. So remember, our smiley face is the picture, and how many is each smiley face? 2. So let's go ahead. So this is 2,
2, 4, 6.
6 children. 2, 4, 6. And in order from biggest to smallest. Okay, next we have pizza. How many children said their favorite food is pizza?
12.
All right, let's put it into our graph using a scale of 2. So we have
2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
12. Good. All right, and now we have wings. Wings. How many children said they like wings? 3. 3. So let's go ahead and put it in our graph. Yeah, that's what I was getting to, but good, you already knew that. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we have 2. Now, that's too many, right? Because how many is it again? 3. So guys, whenever it falls onto an odd number, what you'll do is you'll put in half, a half, okay? So I have 2, and then I'll put a half a smiley face to show 3. Okay, because a full one is 2, so we put a half as to say 1. So 2, 3. Got it? Y'all got it? Y'all got what I'm saying? Yeah? Okay, so go ahead and get out your book. Lesson worksheet 82. Let's do it in our book. Okay, you have the page of Aya Dennis Faith, yes? Yes. I'm trying to understand where. Okay. All right, so let's look at it. Y'all have it, Dennis, Avaya Faith. I need to know before I get started. Do y'all have the page? Yes. All right, let's go ahead and discuss it. Okay, so let's look at the graph. It's done for us partially. So the picture tells us how many, and then now we need to count how many. So again, so the donut is our picture, and how many is each donut? 2. So let's look at it first. All right, so by the first one, room 1. How many donuts were eaten in room 1? Count it on your graph.
Let me see.
And you're counting each picture by 2s. In room 1, how many donuts were eaten?
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14.
14. So go ahead and put that in your chart. Room 1, they ate a total of 14 donuts.
Donuts are my favorite dessert.
All right, next one, room 2. Dennis, how many donuts were eaten in room 2? Now look, you have the 2s and then you have a half.
6, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
You got it, Dennis? If you said it, I didn't hear. How many were eaten in room 2?
2, 4, 6, 8, 9.
9. So guys, remember that half means 9. You're using the numbers right here. Are you using these numbers? Okay, let's look at room 3. So Faith, room 3, we know how many, which is 8, right? So now we have to draw the picture of the 8. So Faith, using a scale of 2, how many donuts would I need to draw for room 3 to show 8?
4.
4 donuts. So go ahead and draw 4 donuts. Okay, the worksheet's on there. Yes. All right. Okay, we have that. All right, let's go to, so that's our full graph of the donuts eaten. Let's go to the next graph, which are the cartons of milk they drunk. Okay, so let's look at room number 1. Naraya, you're gonna count how many cartons of milk did they drink? 11. Yes. So go ahead and put that on the chart. 11. Yep. They drunk in room 1. They drunk 11 cartons of milk, and 11 because of that half. Okay, now room 2. Okay, Carson, room 2. How many cartons of milk did they drink in room 2? Count again. You counting them by 2s? You count them by 2s. That's what I was saying. You gotta count them by 2s. Oh. You count them by 2. So find room 2. You see room 2? Yes. And so now count how many cartons of milk, but you have to count the picture by 2s. 12. So in room 2, they drank 12 cartons of milk. Go. All right. Taylor, in room 3, we have 7. How would we draw 7? How many cartons of milk will we need to draw to show 7? Not 4, because 4 would be 8. That's too many. Stop. Not 7, guys. You will draw 3 whole ones and a half. That's 2, 4, 6, and then half makes 7. Okay.
That wasn't nice.
All right, good. So tomorrow we'll do the last one as a practice for tomorrow, okay? All right, good job, guys. So that's it for math. We're learning, so just pay attention. You will have it in your book today. But underneath the graph, it will tell you the picture you have to count by 2s. It will tell you that on the graph, so pay close attention to that. All right, go ahead and get out your reading. That'll be our last thing. Well, no, we have more things to do, but get out your reading.
I don't have anything.
That's okay. Page 78 in your reading.
We have to do a word. Yeah, no. That's an A plus. A plus? No, it does not make it.
Okay, so page 78, let's get started. Okay, Dennis, you can start us off on 78. That'd be short, she's going to do it for Zoom, and I'll finish it after Zoom. You got it, Dennis? 78?
Miss Fulgence, I have to find my book.
Okay,
You better call me out.
so Dennis page 78?
Bunny sat up quickly. How can I have a ride in the sky on my back? Said Mr. Crane. I will fly across the lake in a few minutes. You may go with me. I will bring you back on my return trip in an hour. How wonderful, exclaimed Bunny. I am ready to go anytime. Very well, but you must put on your green coat and your red hat.
Oh, wait, not 78, Dennis.
Ask your mother if you.
Dennis, hold on. 76. Sorry. I wonder why you're reading like that. 76, my bad.
If I could wish, I'd be a fish for just a day or two to flip and flash and dart and splash and nothing else to do and never anyone to say, "Are you quiet, sir? Are you quiet, sir? You are today. I'd like it with you."
Okay, good. All right, let's look at 77, Bunny and his airplane. Faith, you found your book?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Wait, what page?
77.
I wish I could fly, said Bunny one day as he watched the sky. A long leg standing by. What he said? Plane gets his long leg around. He looked at Bunny and said, "You may never be able to fly, but you can have a ride in the sky."
Okay, good. So we're answering this to Bunny, right? And what did Bunny wish he could do? He wished he could fly, right? So he sees a crane standing nearby. Crane is a bird. And so the crane tells him he might not be able to fly, but what could he have? What? A ride. A ride in the sky. Okay, 78. Mariah?
Bunny sat very quietly. "Oh, how I have a ride in the sky. On my back," said Mr. Crane. "I will fly you across the lake in a few minutes. You may go.
Okay, so a verb, but I want you guys to
You may go with me. I will bring
ask the question, what is a verb? So could you give us the first word?
you back on my return trip in an hour. How wonderful, excellent Bunny. I am ready to go anytime. Very well, but you must put on your little green coat and your red cap and ask your mother if you may go, said Mr. Crane. Bunny hurried home to ask his mother and go get his coat and cap. Soon he came hopping back with his cap and with his coat and cap on. Mother said, I may go, shout Bunny. Put on your arms around my neck and climb upon my back, said Mr. Crane. How wonderful it was to bring sliding through the air. The trees and hills were so far below them that people looked at the tiny speck.
Okay. So the crane told him, Mr. Crane told him he could give him a ride on his back, right? He will fly over the lake and Bunny could ride on his back, okay? So Bunny goes to ask his mom, what does she tell him?
Yes.
Yes, and so whenever he got on Mr. Crane, where did Mr. Crane tell him to keep his hands?
On top of his neck.
Around his neck, right? So that he, would be safe while he's on his back. Okay, Carson, 79. A verb is, okay, David.
The river looked like a silver ribbon winding among the green hills.
That's it.
The cool wind swept Bunny's ears back as they rushed through the air. As they were flying over the lake, Bunny saw something big in the water. He leaned over to see what it could be. He was so interested that he forgot to keep his arms around Mr. Crane's neck. And suddenly down went Bunny and dropped splash into the water.
Okay, so they're soaring over the lake and Bunny's excited, right? He got too excited because what did he end up doing?
Falling.
He let go and he ended up falling. Yes. Okay, 80. A verb is a word that does. Oh, back to you, Asa. A verb is a word that does. And
He landed right on the back of the big thing. And wait, what did you suppose it was? It was old Mr. Alligator, who was talking to his afternoon nap. Well, maybe you think. What is it? Mr. Alligator wasn't surprised. Had never
good. All right. Awesome. So today we're gonna go over action verbs. So yesterday I wrote some action verbs. Today I'll give you an action verb.
rabbit.
I want you to be. Okay. So you're gonna look at it.
And
So you can do that.
he didn't like to have this strange animal riding on his back. But what
All
would
right. So ready? Is it ready? Yeah.
he do?
Okay. So our first action verb is fly. Give me your own sentence with clap. Action verb clap. Okay, so he lets go and falls into the water, but not only does he fall into the water, but who does he fall on?
Mr.
Falls on Mr. Alligator, and I'm sure Mr. Alligator was very shocked that, Bunny fell on him like that while he was sleeping. Okay, anyone? Kelly?
I'll swim over to that big rock at the edge of the lake and scratch my back on it. That will knock this animal off. And then I gobble him up. So Mr. Alligator swam over to the edge of the lake. But Bunny jumped to the log. Bunny jumped to the log and hopped to the ground and was gone before you could blink an eye. That was the last ride in the sky that Bunny ever took.
Okay, so Bunny falls on the back of Mr. Alligator, right? And so Mr. Alligator didn't want him on his back. What did Mr. Alligator want to do to Bunny?
Eat him.
Gobble him up, right? So he swam over to the edge and Bunny jumped on the log, but then it says he was gone in a blink of an eye. What you think happened?
He ate the log.
The alligator ate Mr. Bunny.
What?
Yep. He just bite him. Maybe. Yeah, so that's pretty sad for Mr. Bunny.
Bunny ran away.
They say he was gone before you could blink an eye, and that was the last ride. So either Mr. Alligator ate him or he did run away, but it seems like Mr. Alligator ate him up. Yeah. So yeah, that's unfortunate for Bunny. I guess maybe he should have just stayed on the ground, huh? And not wanted to go in the sky. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys, let's go ahead and go over our language and then we'll be done for today. We don't do spelling on Tuesday. I told y'all that already. Okay. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and go over verbs. Lincoln, state of being shouldn't take as long to go over. All right, so let's go over our state of being. So remember, a verb is a word that does an action, shows the state of being, links two words together, or helps another verb. Yesterday, we discussed action verbs. Actions are movement, is any type of movement when we're moving around. It is an action verb, okay? So let's talk about the state of being and the linking verbs. Remember, they're the same exact list. It's just how we use them in a sentence is what makes them different from one another. State of being verbs will show that a person just is. They exist. They're not doing anything. They're not moving. They just are. They exist. Linking, though, what it does is it takes the verb and it links two parts of the sentence together. Usually the who and the what will be linked together by the linking verb. So let's go ahead and go through the list. What are they? Let's see. Avaya, what's our state of being and linking verb list? Give me the first one.
R is
First one. You missed one.
bird.
The first one. R is the second one. There's one that comes before R.
A
Am. Okay,
Am
Dennis, what's the next one?
is
What? Hold on. Dennis, what's the next one? Dennis? What? He's supposed to say. Faith, what's the next one? Is. Okay, Naraya. Carson. Was. Kaylin. Were. Kinley. B. Back to you, Avaya. Am, is, are, was, were,
be
being, and Dennis, last one. Being,
then.
been. Good. So these are our state of being and our linking verbs. Am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. Okay? So these are the state of being and linking verbs. Like I said, though, what makes them different is how we use it in a sentence. So look at it. She is. Is our verb. What kind of verb will this be? What kind of verb? State of being or linking? State of being. She's not doing anything. But when I say she is 10, is now turns into a what? It's a linking verb now. Okay, we were. Were in this case is the verb. What kind of verb will were be? State of being, but when I say we were singing, word turns into what kind of verb now, Faith?
Linking verb.
Linking verb, good. So I think we're kind of clear on this. I just wanted to review it to refresh you guys. Tomorrow we'll go into helping verbs and then our test will be on Thursday. This will be our last test on verbs. When we get back from the break, we'll move on to adjectives, okay? All right, guys, so our state of being and linking verbs are am, is, are, was, were, be, being, been. All right, awesome. Are y'all writing this down or something? Yeah? Oh, okay. I'll keep it up already. But this is the end of our Zoom though, so I'm gonna stop recording.